Freshman Senator from Michigan, Alyssa Slotkin, claims Democrats, they are too worried about upsetting people.
Now, while Slotkin sounds off, a New York Times report reveals that the DNC is going to conduct a post-election review, also known as an autopsy. But there's a catch. Here's what the Times says. The Democratic autopsy will avoid addressing some of the likeliest or leading causes of death. Among those is whether Mr. Biden should have run for re-election.
While the autopsy looks back, Democrats are trying to look forward, but they are facing a few hurdles, including their finances. In June, how about this? The Democrats raised $8.2 million compared to the GOP, which raised $16.2 million during that same time.
And joining us now, Democratic Congressman from Washington State, Adam Smith, who was one of the first, I believe actually the fifth, Democrats in Congress to call for President Biden to leave the race. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us on American Agenda. I want to get right to your reasoning. Why did you think that President Biden should step out of the race?
Because I didn't think he was strong enough to be a candidate up against Donald Trump for president. I didn't think he could prosecute the campaign against Trump with sufficient vigor and energy, and I think that was clear. He was not ready to run for that job. We needed the strongest possible candidate. He was not going to be that. I think that was pretty clear after the debate.
Okay, after the debate, what do you, I will just say, did his mental acuity or any concerns that you may have had about his mental acuity factor into that? When you say not the strongest candidate, did you think, obviously not just physically or maybe not with popularity, but able to handle the presidency? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm talking about the physical requirements and also the communication requirements. The ability to speak at length in complicated, issues and make a strong case publicly. He very clearly in the debate was not able to do that. Now, there are plenty of people in the world who are not able to do that, who are not mentally deficient. They just don't speak and communicate very strongly, and that's where Joe Biden was. He wasn't speaking and communicating very strongly, and I think it was pretty clear he was not going to be capable of running the type of campaign that needed to be run to get the issues out, to challenge Donald Trump, to put forward a positive agenda. So he was not going to be capable of doing that, and this election was really important.
Yeah,
we needed a better, stronger candidate. No
clearly.
question.
There were issues, and that is the past. Now, Congressman, let's talk about the future. What do you think are the problems with your party?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's a problem that within a very large coalition we have disagreements. I mean, I think people would think we were lying to them if we said, I don't know how many Democrats there are, but, it's like 80 million people voted for Joe Biden or something like that. If we told them all 80 million of us agree on absolutely everything, I think that would be somewhat ridiculous. I've always thought unity is incredibly overrated. We need a robust discussion about the issues. Biggest issue is, what are we going to do to help the working class? How are we going to convince people that we believe in the basic sentence, work hard, play by the rules, get ahead? That's what we want to do, and we recognize right now too many people are working hard, playing by the rules, and not getting ahead. So, this notion that I hope we have a discussion. I hope we have disagreements. In my experience, that sort of competitive analysis is how you get to a better campaign and better policy.
Congressman, who would you say is the leader of the Democratic Party today?
There is no leader of the Democratic Party. We have a lot of members of Congress, senators, governors, some formers. Look, you don't have an election and pick the leader of the Democratic Party until you nominate a president, which we haven't done. I would say there's a lot of very strong voices out there. Personally, I like Alyssa Slotkin. I like Ruben Gallego. I like Mark Kelly. We've got governors like Andy Beshear, Shapiro in Pennsylvania, Wes Moore in Maryland. We've got a lot of voices out there, and I think an after-action report, I prefer to put it that way than to say autopsy, though I take your point. I think after-action report to go, hey, what went wrong? And if I have a criticism right now of some of our leadership, is the ones who say things like what you heard in the New York Times. Oh, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about this. Let's just move past. No, we got to put it all on the table. I think we need a better, stronger economic message. We need to show people that we're not obsessed with identity politics, that we're about opportunity and hard work and responsibility and outcomes, that we're serious about securing the border, which frankly didn't happen in the last term.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
I
really wanted to know, Congressman, what you thought about the border and, letting in 10 to 20, whatever the real number is, a million illegal aliens into the country. Real quick, I want to ask you about Mamdani. So he says he's a socialist, all right, but he's in the Democrat Party. How do you feel about the potential mayor of New York City saying, I'm a Democrat, I'm a socialist, though? That's what he is. And also AOC, she gets the most fundraising for any congressional members of the House there. And that would appear that she is your leader right now. She gets more money than anybody.
Well, so that's your measurement? Whoever raises the most money is the leader? That's really not the way this works, okay? It's about issues and it's about ideas. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene raises a ton of money, too. I don't think she's the leader of the Republican Party. So it's about issues and ideas. And look, okay, you got Mondami running for mayor of New York. Democrats have never had a problem winning New York City. All right. We also have Mikey Sherrill, member of Congress, military veteran, a Naval Academy graduate, who's our nominee for governor in New Jersey. We got Abigail Spanberger, also served in Congress, CIA, as our nominee for governor of Virginia, places that are a lot more competitive than New York City. Those are good, strong candidates as well that represent the Democratic Party, I think, really well. Now, they're more my flavor than Mondami in terms of the issues. But again, it's a big tent. It's a big coalition. I love watching Fox News because you'd swear it was the Mondami channel. Every time I walk by, that's all they want to talk about. Look, the Democratic Party is a much bigger coalition. And by the way, Donald Trump's got a couple issues, too. Adding $3.5 trillion to the debt, cutting Medicare. Okay, he secured the border,
what I hear
but
you
now
saying,
he's using ICE
there's a place
to go
in the Democrat
neighborhood.
Party
I want to make an
socialists.
You asked about.
That was my original question.
You asked about.
Under your
sure.
tent
You asked
for the
about
Democrats, there's
immigration.
a home for socialists. Yes? Is that what you're saying?
Hold on just a second. On immigration, what Trump is doing, going after people who have not committed crimes beyond being here undocumented, going after them neighborhood to neighborhood, terrorizing our communities in that way. Trump is now underwater on immigration. Yeah, we made mistakes. Now Trump's making mistakes. We have to move forward on that. As far as whether or not someone who says he's a socialist can be a Democrat, I am not going to kick that person out of the party. That's not the way this works. I will disagree with some of their ideas, but if you're asking me, is there room in the Democratic Party for a socialist? A person who wants to say they're a Democrat, they can be a Democrat. I personally probably
okay.
wouldn't vote
So then
for
there
them.
is.
But we don't go around we don't go around kicking people out of the party because they don't like an idea. This is not the way we do things. We want to have a robust discussion and debate and get to the right answer.
Right, because you have said, I know that Mamdani isn't speaking for our party again, but I guess to your point, there is room for all different voices and philosophies in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and we'll disagree with some of those. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, people speak up and say, no, we don't agree with it. There's room. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to elect you to Congress or make you governor or whatever if we don't agree with your position.
Real quick, Congressman,
we need a big tent and a robust debate.
You brought up President Trump and his response to immigration here. Just hypothetically, and you've admitted the way Democrats handle the border is wrong. If he doesn't do something in terms of deportation, then don't you technically just greenlight what you did?
No, here's a simple solution. Number one, yes, you need to secure the border, which Trump has done and Biden didn't do. Absolutely. Number two, you should absolutely deport people who are a threat to our community, people who are committing crimes, a whole bunch of different categories you can do that. But where I'm at and where I think the country is at, we have roughly 15 million undocumented immigrants in this country. The overwhelming majority of them have not committed those types of crimes. They're working, they're paying taxes, they're going to school, they're part of our community. I don't think we should go into the community and deport all of those people. I don't think that's good policy. And I think the American people agree with me. So that's the immigration policy that I think makes the most sense.
So then it's okay. You greenlight what happened then?
Well, I don't even know what that means.
That means you say it was okay. They get to stay.
What
That means
happened.
you just said 15 million people, they get to stay here. Because they're good people, they get to stay, but they didn't have to come through legally. That's what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying that a portion of those folks, number one, but also remember the first thing I said, secure the border so that it doesn't keep happening. But understand something, for decades, it has been the policy of this country to rely upon those undocumented immigrants, to work in agriculture, to work in the restaurant business, to work in hotels, okay? We have relied upon that. And yeah, if they've been here for a number of years, they're paying taxes, and then you yank them out and send them back to where they came from. No, I don't think that's good policy.
Which we've had a system for decades to bring those people in. President Trump says the men and women working in farms, hotel and leisure, they would come up with a solution. we didn't need 20 million people.
Well, I hope they do. I hope they do.
I think
If they do, that would be great.
And I think
If you expanded legal immigration, that'd be awesome. But we haven't done that yet.
Right, but again, I think we maybe seem to be agreeing, or at least sort of, where basically America is all about welcoming people from other countries. However, not just opening the borders and letting anyone come in.
Absolutely.
I think if people are here
Absolutely.
legally,
sounds like legal immigration.
That's what it should be. All right, we are going to have to leave it there.
All right, Congressman
but our
Smith,
legal immigration system is kind of broke.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you. Thanks for
Congressman,
stopping